again, and we are at day 2 of this demo session for this JMeter course. Just a quick walkthrough of yesterday's session, that what exactly we have covered. We talked about course introduction, that for basically what are the things we have covered within this course. So if you go through this course, what exactly things you are going to learn. So these things we have talked about course introduction. Apart from that course content is also available at Way to Automation website. You can simply go through the course content in order to understand the topics that we are going to cover throughout this course as well. uh, Again, we moved to the topics. So basically we talked about understanding performance testing, a problem statement. Then we have gone through what exactly JMeter is, how it's behave, why JMeter is used, basically in order to generate load. We use JMeter. We have gone through a GUI overview, that how JMeter looks like and what are the things we add. Basically the things we add in JMeter, we refer that as elements. We gone through basically thread group. We defined a few threads, basically a 4 thread. We have created a simple test plan hitting this pet store, which is a demo website, and the home page only, because it was just a demonstration that how basically at a quick in a quick manner how JMeter works, if you want to just hit a single page using JMeter. So basically 3 elements, more important elements, are the essential elements required, which is the one is the thread group, one is the sampler, and the third one is the listener. So these are the 3 elements, the minimum required elements in order to just to hit any page, or uh, to generate load on any page through JMeter. Again, there were a few open questions as well. Basically, what are the difference between JMeter, not exactly JMeter. So this was yesterday clarified, that JMeter we exactly cannot compare with functional testing, but exactly that what is the difference between functional testing and performance testing. Apart from that, few other things were open in yesterday's session that we have just noted down and going to cover these things basically. So talking about today's session, what exactly we are going to cover in today's session, we will prepare for a performance test. At the very beginning, you do not have any idea about performance testing, so it's not always clear, it's not always easy to um, decide a starting point, that where you are going to start before before doing a performance testing, or basically for a performance testing, what are the entry point where you are going to start doing your performance testing. So I will talk on those points, basically how you can prepare for running a performance test. So under that, I will be covering few topics, basically a business flow or flow, what are the steps, and using those steps we will try to create a script. Basically in yesterday's session we have created a manual script, but today we will not creating a manual script, but we'll be using a tool which is called BlazeMeter extension, which is available for Chrome, in order to record our script. Again, script related few formatting and open questions, and basically a difference between different kind of performance testing that we do. We'll generate a HTML report as well, and we'll take up your questions in between, and what are the questions that you have throughout this session. All right, so with that, let me first start my JMeter. So you know that how to launch JMeter on Windows machines. You can simply get into the JMeter folder inside bin. You can double click on jmeter.bat. A few of you I think encountered some issues on starting JMeter on Mac and Linux. That's because of uh, only the problem I got. The problem was because of your Java setup. In some of the system, basically either the Java is installed, but the path is not set, basically the Java home or JRE home. So those are the only thing I found. So once you have your Java installed in your system and have the path set, there is not going to be any problem launching JMeter on your Linux or Mac machines. So there are separate basically things in order to set up Java and setting up environment variables. So if you believe that that's going to be a problem for you, and somehow it's not going to be easy for you to set up those things, so just drop me a mail. I will just help in that way as well, taking remote and looking at the specific problem related to your system. Okay, so um, just a minute. Okay, so let's start with preparing a performance test plan. So this topic I'm going to pick. But before that, there is one thing which is so yesterday this was the demo website, which is a demo website called JPetty Store, which is available on Octoperf. So this is the web version which is available on Octoperf, where you can just try to record your script and now just interact with the things available on this website. A similar version of this website, which is a JPetty store, is also running on my local system. So if I open my local system, I'm trying to open it in my incognito, and if I go to localhost colon 8080 slash jpet store, so this JPetty store is locally running in my system on my local host. For that, I have a Tomcat server running and a simple war file, basically jar file of this JPetty store. So that was the setup done in order to just to go through this demonstration, but that's not a problem. The reason I'm going through this local host because I just want to demonstrate running a higher load from my JMeter. As I told you that hitting a web version of any website is actually, I'm not basically authorized person to do that. So that's the reason I have set up a local version of this dummy application in my system, so that I can run a large number of users in order to demonstrate kind of load testing. Okay, so this is the local host, and this is the wave version. This is the version. This is the application which is running in my local machine. Okay, so now the question is that if I am a performance tester, if I am an engineer, and if I assign to do a performance testing for this website, okay, which is a JPetty store, just assume, which is not the actual website, but being a dummy website, I'm just assuming this as a use case, that I was told to do performance testing, doing performance testing for this website. So what are the things required where you are going to start doing performance testing for this website? Okay, there are a lot of things. This is the launch page. There are different pages. Fish is there, dogs are there, reptiles, cats, and under that there are a few different items are there. There is a sign in button as well. So a lot of things. So what you are going to do, what are the things inside your mind? What is the idea of doing performance testing for any website? um, Quite complex at the very beginning phase, because you are not an expert person doing performance testing of any website. So I will guide you through that, how exactly you can make sense about doing performance testing for a given website. Meanwhile, I have a concern that my voice is breaking. So is it for everyone or something related to some specific person? Okay, it's clear. All right, guys. Okay, thanks for the confirmation. I got it. Okay, so here's the website. For that, I'm going to do performance test. I'm not exactly sure that where to start. Okay, so in order to start performance testing of any website, you need to understand about the application, that what this application is. Okay, so this is a kind of application which allow me to purchase few of the pets. Okay, so this application is kind of an online application where I can get into the website and purchase few things. And the main functionality of this application include, basically I need to sign in order to make a purchase and click on any item. Okay, click on any category, actually click on add to cart, check out, and then providing some payment information, and then continue. And then finally, after verifying the detail, I'm going to place this order. So this is the important functionality of this application. Okay, and this I need to know. Basically I need to know that for what purpose my application is designed. If this is an e-commerce website, this is basically designed to allow users to purchase something. Okay, if it is some different application, if it's a database application, it is designed to allow transactions to happen quickly, a large number of transactions per second with minimum response time. Okay, so different applications have different objectives. So you need to know the objective of the application, that for what purpose, for what objective that application is designed. Once you know that, you need to know the important interactions of the customers to your website. Basically, if this is the website, you need to know that what are the important functionality which is going to be used. Basically any website which is available for a customer, and the features which are provided on that website is not 100% sure that all of the feature is going to be used by customers, or all of the features are going to be used by a person for that website is being designed. So you need to know the important functionality as well. Okay, if you know these few points about the functionality, about the objective, now you have idea that these are the things that I need to verify. So in my case, I need to at least verify my sign in page and one category at least, and then adding that product to cart, and then check out, and then placing order. So these are the basically functionalities I need to verify. There is another functionality available at this website is my account. Okay, this is my account, and under my account there is my orders, but this is rarely used functionality. Not most of the users are going to hit my account and then my orders, but most of the users who are just launching, just who are uh, just landing on your website, are certainly going to hit fish or dogs or any other category, or most of the cases they are going to sign in into your website and they are basically going to search for any other category. Okay, any something they are going to search. So these are the important functionalities which are available, and this is going to be your entry point for your performance testing. Okay, so with that, you need to understand your application, about the objective of the application, and you need to know the business flow. Basically, a term which is used as a business flow or the functionality. So if I say that's a business flow, so what is the business flow? Business flow in the sense, a flow which generate business. So if this is a website, so what are the steps which is going to generate business out of this website? Basically, unless I place order, or unless a customer is placing order, this is not going to generate any business. All right, so you need to know the business flow, that what exactly on a flow or the steps or the functionality is going to be a business functionality. So this is very important. Once you understand that, then identify these steps. So in order to fulfill that business flow or business functionality, what are the steps you need to cover in your performance testing? Okay, now you have idea that if I go to do performance testing for this website, I need to at least hitting launch page, signing into my account, selecting a category, and then checking out, adding cart, add to cart, checking out, and then place order. So this is going to be your a flow or the steps for doing performance testing. Okay, so basically these are the pages: launch page and sign in page and fish category, any of the category page, and then add to cart page is going to be your target pages for your performance testing. Okay, let's quickly look at the questions. Okay, no question yet. It's good. Not exactly good for me, but yeah. So let's continue. So these are the steps we have identified. Once you identify these steps, there are two things to convert those steps. So let me just simply draw a thing. So this is your website. You have identified steps, which is going to launch, login, category. So this is going to be category, add to cart, just a high level. It's not the actual steps. Checkout, payment, and then place order. So these are the basically steps and pages you need to cover under your performance script. So this is one of the separate area of JMeter where you need to cover all these pages. So how you include all these pages inside your JMeter? Remember, in yesterday's session, we have included only the first page, which is the launch page inside my JMeter, through the help of an element which is called sampler. All right. So sampler is an element which allowed me to use this page inside JMeter. Eventually, I have used this page inside a sampler, and I have just repeated, I have iterated this with the help of 4 users. So if you want to have a look, I have this script saved, yesterday's script, demo day 1. Yes, so this is the launch page, hitting the catalog.action, the same page, hitting catalog.action, doesn't matter, it's an octoperf or local version. Sorry, so this is the local version, but the page is same. Okay, so I have converted this page, and the similar way I have to convert these things inside my JMeter. I'm basically forming a script. So what we say it, if I get back to my JMeter, so this is a script which contains a single page, a launch page, and this is a performance script. Now this is a short script, but it's a complete performance script which holds a single page, and we refer this as a test plan. So as a whole, we say it as a script because the place where I have saved it inside my system, um, with extension .jmx, any performance script, JMeter script basically is saved with extension .jmx, and that performance JMeter script holds a test plan with a few different elements. So inside this basically test plan, or basically inside this script, we have a single page. Now the requirement is, since I have identified my applications business pages, which are going to be at least these pages, now the requirement is to convert these pages into into JMeter script. We have done this yesterday manually, right? We have added this manually, but adding these much of pages manually will take a lot of effort and prone to the human error. If you miss something, that might be a broken, that might be turned into a broken script, and you will not be able to replay that correctly. Basically your script might not be working fully. So in order to avoid those manual errors, and in order to avoid that manual effort, we have an option to convert these pages into a script, and that is called scripting. Okay. Basically script recording. So script recording is a feature provided inside JMeter, but the process of converting actual pages into a script inside any tool, doesn't matter, not right here but here, is called the scripting. I I believe that you guys are already aware of Selenium script and other different scripts. The similar way, load runner has their own specific script, so which is referred as load runner script. So in this way, we are going to call is JMeter script. So how to convert these pages into JMeter script? So there are different ways to convert those pages into a script. Basically, there are different ways to do scripting. I will demonstrate you the BlazeMeter extension. There is a feature which is a inbuilt feature of JMeter is called the proxy recorder. So there is an element. If you go through, get into your test plan, right click, add non-test element. So there is a HTTPS test script recorder. So basically this is the element which allows you to record your script. Basically what that means, so it allow you to just convert the pages into this JMeter script. But I think the BlazeMeter extension, it provides you the exact same thing, but with ease and with some predefined a kind of a template, which will be basically at this point of time, which will be easy for you to understand. So let's take example of this BlazeMeter extension. I will be just creating this script including these pages with the help of BlazeMeter extension. Meanwhile, in between, I have got a question about heap. I think this is one of the open question about heap. So I will be covering heap at a later point of time. So just allow me first to go through this script recording section, and then I will be coming back to heap. Okay. Basically, I can just have a conversation with you. So to answer to you on a specific point, what exactly you need to know about heap. Okay, so let's get back. So in order to record your script using BlazeMeter extension, you need to have a account with BlazeMeter. So if you already have an account, that's good. Otherwise, you can just simply sign up for free. So it's a free sign up. You just need to put your email address. Quickly sign up for BlazeMeter account. You can simply Google about BlazeMeter, sign in, and then you can just create an account. Okay. So once you are done with the account creation, there is an extension which is called BlazeMeter extension. So this is available for Chrome. So do note that this extension is available for Chrome. You can add this extension by typing BlazeMeter extension. Okay. Once you type BlazeMeter extension, so this is the chrome.google.com. Basically, this is the Chrome store where you can just click and add this extension to your Chrome. Once you are done with this extension added into your Chrome, you will be having this kind of an logo right here. And here you will be asked for login if you are not logged in. So simply with the account you have just created with BlazeMeter, log in with that account by clicking login. Okay, let me log in into it. Okay. Once you log in, basically, SSL shows login. Yeah, so it says hi JMeter. Basically, this is my account name. So that's the reason it says hi JMeter. So let everything as it is. It's a dashboard of a BlazeMeter. Not to worry about it. You can simply close this window, basically close that tab. And yes, I'm still logging. Now, I have to convert those pages into a script. Basically, I'm going to record a script for these pages. And what are these pages are: launch, login, category, add to cart, checkout. So I will be at a runtime, I will be adding these pages will turning that pages into a transaction. I do believe that at this point of time, and a few of the terminologies like transaction and other things that I use during this session might be confusing for you, but not to worry, because I believe that in a 2 days time it's not quite easy to learn JMeter completely. So that's the reason it is called a demo session. So it's I do not exactly think as a way that the thing I'm going to deliver will be completely make sense to you. So not to worry about that. um, it's just a kind of demonstration in order to look at the things that how exactly things are moving in a way of JMeter and how things I am delivering to you guys. So I'm already logged in into my BlazeMeter extension. And what in order to start a recording, what you need to do, simply click on this BlazeMeter extension. You can rename it to say JPET store, JPET store. Okay, and you can simply click start recording. There are a few options there. Just you can go through these options. You can check about those options as well, but just let those options be default. You can simply click start recording. Once you start recording, it will give you a name of the flow, basically the name of the step, what is step you are going to record. So at the very first time I'm going to record launch page. So what I can name it like launch page. Click anywhere outside and you reload it page. Once you reload, you see that there are things recorded inside this launch page. Means I am done with my launch page recording. The next page is going to be, oh, I think I have done a mistake because I'm already signed in and I just wanted to record sign in page as well. So just allow me to discard this recording and record it again. So first I'm going to sign out and I'm going to stop it. Yes, I'm going to say it jpetistro1 underscore 1 and click start recording. Okay, so here I'm going to say it launch again, launch page. Click anywhere outside just to reload it page. Okay, again the next page is going to be login, log in, or simply type it sign in. Add a step, click on sign in, and here we have basically sign in post. So I need to define another step, which is going to be sign in underscore post. Okay, so here I'm done with the sign in. The next page is going to be click fish. So these are the steps I'm going to create here. So click fish, and now I'm going to click on fish. So anything that you do will get added into the steps. If I do not rename this step, the next thing will be added into this step. So in order to categorize those pages, I'm just renaming these into different steps. This these steps will be going to be turned into transactions. So there is another thing which is transaction. And not to confuse at this point of time, just consider that these steps are going to turn into a transaction, which is basically a page itself for now. But there is a difference between transaction and pages. Okay, so the next step or the next transaction is going to be select fish. Okay, so add a step, select any of the fish, gold fish in my case. The next I'm going to do add cart, add to cart, add to cart. Another step is going to be proceed to checkout. So another step, proceed to checkout. This is going to be payment continue, add step, payment continue. And the final step is going to be payment order confirm, order confirm, add step, click confirm. Now I am done with my order confirmation. Another step, which is going to be the last one, is the sign out, because once I'm done with my order placement, I'm going to sign out of this website. So click sign out, add a step, and then click sign out, so that the sign out action will be get added into this step. Okay, once you're done with all the steps, click stop. Once you stop, it's blinking. Basically, it's processing your things. I think that has been processed. You can simply click on save, which is basically going to download the recording. Okay, here you need to check JMeter for JMX for JMeter. Click save one. Okay, and this is going to export my JMX. Here it is, jpetty store underscore one. Okay, and now I need to open this script. Basically, this holds all the pages. These are the pages, and the actual pages we have traversed through this browser are already converted into a JMeter script inside this script with the name jpetty store underscore one.jmx. Quite simple. Now I need to simply open it into my JMeter. There are two ways. Either you can get into your JMeter, click open, and navigate to the download section where that script is downloaded. Another simple way I found is simply hold it, drag it to JMeter, drop it here. Since the previous item is not saved, it's asking me to save the previous item. I think I do not need anything important changes, so click no. Okay, lot of things. So this is the test plan name. These are the test plan name. These are the comments. Basically, this test plan was created by BlazeMeter kind of things, right? Few other elements: header manager, define variable, and a lot of things: cookies, caches. And one of the important element I got is the thread group. Inside that, I have launch page. Good. Sign in. Inside sign in, I have my sign in. Click sign in. Actually, rather than sign in, you can simply type it, click sign in. That's the simplicity of the emitter. You can simply click on any of the element. You can click on name. You can rename it as per your convenient. Click save. Again, sign in post. We are signed in with user J2EE and the password J2EE. So all those steps we have traversed inside my JMeter has been captured through that BlazeMeter extension and converted into a beautiful JMeter script, which I am just now holding that script inside my JMeter. So that's quite simple to convert any of the pages or any of the business pages into a JMeter script with the help of extension or with the help of um, inbuilt option under JMeter is called the HTTPS script recorder, or we refer that as a proxy recorder. So this is I have demonstrated, which is quite meaningful for at this point of time, that how we convert those things into a script. And it's another step to explore the inbuilt proxy recorder or a script recorder. So that's not a concern for now, but we have got a script at that point of time at least. So there is a question in between from Shashikant that if we click on another website, this will also record it. Yes, exactly. Basically, at that point of time, rather than navigating on that website, navigating on that pages, if you hit another URL, that will also be recorded. That's not a problem. And in few of the cases, if it is required to have different is basically different pages to run in a single shot, you can just simply have another thread group as well. You can have add thread user, thread group, and inside that thread group, these kind of different pages hitting different website. So there are a lot of things to explore. Being so simple, UI oriented, click, copy, paste, drag and drop, most of the things are basically quite simply available to you guys. Even we have simply recorded these much of things with that lot of effort. Again, you can simply copy this entire thing, get into your test plan label, just right click and paste. So you have just copy pasted all those things on a simple copy paste kind of things. You can modify few things as per your requirement. So I found myself very confidence and very managed easy to handling this JMeter script in my assignments. So quite impressive about JMeter. Okay, so since we have just exported this script with all those pages. All right, so sorry, I have coming questions in between, and it's good to have those questions in between, because being a demo session, it's a session for you guys only. It's not only me that continue with my discussion. So I'm just going to be engaged with your question. So there is a question from, can we record a script from JMeter? Yes, obviously you can record a script from JMeter. As I told you, in this demonstration, I have used BlazeMeter extension, but you can simply record a script from JMeter using HTTPS script recorder. We say it proxy recorder. Um, Running short on time, or basically not to get into typical complex settings, setting up proxy recorder, importing certificates, and getting a lot of extra things in your recording. So the reason I just selected this BlazeMeter extension to be more basically clear and short on recording portion. But there is an option of proxy recorder. If I have a chance to continue this session in coming days, I will be going through each and every details which are basically mentioned in course content. Okay. So there is a question that, can we verify any specific test on any web page using BlazeMeter? I think, Manmeet, there is no such option at the time of recording of verifying any page. But once you are done with the recording, since you have all those pages converted into a script, now on that page, if you want to verify any of the content, you can verify that simply by using assertion. So that's another topic to go, but at the time of recording, it's not there to verify any of the content. And I think that also it's not such important to verify things, because at the time of recording, if you feel your page is broken, something is not working expected, definitely you need to discard that recording in between, and you need to start a refresh recording. Because at the time of recording, if you got something, that definitely during the replay you will be getting that trouble during the replay as well. So it's always recommended that if you feel that at the time of recording the application behavior was not as expected, or there was something happened in a form of error or something which you feel that is not expected, just close that recording in between, and you need to record afresh from starting to end again. Okay. Okay, yes, exactly. So the question is that we are going to verify it. Yes, obviously we are going to verify it, because we have recorded it for doing performance testing. Okay, but you notice that there are a lot of things has been recorded, basically user defined variable, which is base underscore URL underscore one. It's an BlazeMeter options and BlazeMeter features, basically helping you out converting the domain, which is localhost, into a variable. I will let you know that why this has been done. It's a good thing, but at this point of time, this might be a little confusing to you, because if you look at this page, you will be getting some kind of thing, dollar curly braces base URL underscore one. Basically, this is the syntax of using variable, and you might be wondering that where this variable is coming. So what BlazeMeter has done, basically, this has converted your domain, which is localhost, into a variable base underscore URL underscore one, and this variable is getting passed here on each pages. A simple, and one of the reason why this has been done and what it's going to be benefit for you guys, basically, rather than running on localhost, you can can simply run on a different domain or different server as well. If I simply rename it to octoperf website, which is this one, perf.octoperf.com, metastore.octoperf.com, rather than hitting localhost, it's going to hit this website or this server. Okay, because it's sometimes it's required to just verify this script against different environments, basically QA environment or the regression environment or the dev environment. So rather than getting into the details or changing each and every places, you can simply make that change into variable itself. That's a different topic. Okay. Request default is there, but at this point of time, I'm going to disable it. I'm not going to get into those details for now. Cache manager is there, let that be, but this is also not required at this point of time. Authentication manager is also added by default, but disable it as well. Cache manager, DNS cache manager is also not required. Cache manager is also not required. So only thing you need to keep is the cookie manager and the header manager, and obviously this user defined variable, because this local host is coming from this user defined variable itself. Okay. So there is a catch. Okay, so I think the Kalyan is having a question that localhost is something localhost colon 8080, yes, and it's running on protocol HTTP. Yes, exactly. So if you look at the detail, it's having a protocol HTTP, it's having the URL localhost, and it's having a port here, so which is already handled through this BlazeMeter extension. The port on which your application is running has been already added to port number, which is 8080. So not to worry about that. That will be auto handled through this BlazeMeter extension, and in proxy recorder as well. So that will be auto handled. Yes, exactly. As I told you that in my previous example as well, if you're going to record a script, so if you are going to create a page for this, told you that this is the protocol, which is either HTTP or HTTPS. You need not to put all these things. So this is already added. You need to put the server or IP inside server and IP address, and all these things gets into path section. Okay, right here. So this is the format of creating manual script, and when you go through this recording, that will be automatically added or automatically done for you, and you need not to change those things manually. Yes, exactly. So let's get back to it. Okay, so what I'm going to do basically, I'm not going to change anything except this random timer. So as I told you that BlazeMeter extension has added few of the things automatically. So these are the timers basically which delay this request. So what I can do is simply run it a single iteration with single user by adding a listener view results tree. So listener is not added by default. You need to add a listener, which is a view results tree, and simply run it. Let's see the behavior, that what things we are getting. So if I get into view results tree, run it by simply clicking on this green button, which is a start. So start it. Okay, my launch page is completed. But my sign in page is still not completed, which has been 8 seconds around. And the reason about it, what's the reason? Because there is a uniform random timer here, and look, the sign in is now completed. So this random timer basically holding this sign in request uh, from this 8 second to 16 seconds delay. So that's the reason I got my sign in at that after that delay. Okay, the similar thing has applied to all of these pages, and there is a random timer added by default to all of the pages. So these timers comes from the recording time when I was in a recording mode. The time I waited, basically I was waiting on the page doing something, so that has been added into random timers. So that's not a problem that will be happen to you. So in order to quickly verify your script, what you can do, you can stop it in between. So just stop it. Okay, and just clear the results. So with the help of clear all button. Here we have a start no pauses. So what this is, basically this is going to help you bypassing these timers. Okay, and with the start no pauses will bypass these timers, and all your pages will be, just back to back replayed without these timers. Being in a quick manner, it's always a hurry kind of thing to validate something. I will go for this start no pause. Boom. Okay, running on local host, it's quite lightning fast. Since running on local host, it's lightning fast, and that's the reason all of the pages executed within I think 1 or 2 seconds. Okay, but you will not be getting this behavior running on this internet, any of the website. If you go for a demo recording, if you go for this recording, this website, a demo website recording as well, you will not be getting such a fast response. So not to worry about that, because this is behavior I am getting because this application is running on my local machine. Okay, okay. So there is a delay offset. That what use of that? Basically, inside random timer. So this the delay offset is that is something that it's going to at least wait for 8 seconds, and and it's going to be a maximum. So this is going to be a minimum of 8 seconds and a maximum of 16 seconds. Okay, so between 8 and 16, it's going to pick any random delay time. Okay, what is that? I'm just having a question, going through it. Just allow me a minute. Um, During our actual session, we will be using local host site. I will try to cover most of the things on any running live website, but the reason I'm just playing these things with the local host, because you might be interested in looking at the behavior of running different threads, basically a large number of threads. If I say that create a test plan which holds 10 users, okay, and run against a website, so it is not recommended to just overload any of the website with 10 user or more than 10 users. So how you are going to check the behavior of running 10 user inside your JMeter? Okay, so running that kind of scenario and getting that kind of practical session, that local host helps us creating that kind of simulation. You exactly look at the thread behavior, how threads are ramping up, how the things are going when you are running for a large number of users. So so doing those things and those practical things, this local host, a local website, going to be make more meaningful to understand those concepts. Otherwise there is no such difference to running those things on any live or live website, because we are doing those things in a practical manner. Okay, can we add the URL into HTTP header manager? Basically, instead of adding a launch page, uh, uh, um, where you are saying header manager right here. Um, no, exactly not, because header manager is something different, which holds the headers only. So this header manager holds accept header, user agent, do not track. So these headers are going to be applicable on all these pages. Any of the page, you only need to add into an HTTP request sampler only. Okay, not on header manager. Header manager helps you adding headers for these pages only. Okay, so quickly format this script. So what I want to say when I want to format this script, if you look at the behavior, my sign in is here, launch page is here, and clickfish is here, and something. It's not looking something relevant, right? Add to cart is here, and the request of add to cart is above act. Okay, so in order to quickly modify this, this is the element which is called transaction controller, added by default through this um, uh, extension, through this BlazeMeter extension. So if you click on these elements, basically different elements, which holds a sampler inside it. Okay, makes sense. Because this is a transaction and this is a page. As I told you that there is a difference between transaction and page, and a transaction can have more than one pages. Okay, so if I have an example here, I think not so lucky, but no worry. But in some of the cases, you might be, looking at that under a transaction, there are more than one pages that happens. So this is a transaction, this is a page. And if you get back to the transaction, if you get here on the detail, here is a generate parent sample. So I'm going to first click generate parent sample for all these things, for all these transactions. And one more thing I'm going to do here. Okay, so I'm going to just disable these random timers. So how to disable it? It's a shortcut. It's a shortcut is Control plus T. CTRL plus T. Okay. So on any element, if you press Control T, it's a toggle. So it will be once enable and once disabled. Alternate right click on that, go for disable. Okay. But I found Control T most easy as compared to right clicking on that, getting into disable. Okay, Control T, expand it, Control T, Control T. As I told you, scripting is one of the important part, because without scripting, without having those pages into a script, you cannot generate load on those pages. And unless you generate load on those pages, you cannot evaluate the performance of those pages. So it's an important point. Sorry, it's an important basically part of any performance testing to have your script working properly, working fully. Okay, and you have to know about your script, how your script is designed, what are the things used inside your script, and you have your script working properly. Okay, now I'm going to add a timer, which is going to be a constant timer. So this is one of the different timer from this uniform random timer that comes under timer category. Just dragging it to the top just for an simplicity, for an understanding. Otherwise it doesn't matter you put timer here or anywhere, just out of these transactions. Okay, so there is a scope of these elements. So this thread group at the top most hierarchy, and inside that we have a parent controller, which is a transaction controller parent element, and this is a child element of this parent. Okay, and at that hierarchy level I have a constant timer. So this constant timer has the equivalent hierarchy to these to these controllers. Okay, transaction controllers. So this timer is going to be applicable on all these transactions inside all these pages. So if I put a timer of 1 second, basically, okay, 1000 millisecond, and click save. So this 1000 millisecond is going to be applicable on all these transactions and on all these pages. So this page will wait for first 1000 millisecond, then will get executed again. This page is going to wait for 1000 millisecond and again executed. So this 1000 millisecond will be applicable on all of the pages. Okay, because these random timers have more in seconds. So that's the reason I have disabled it. So two things I have done, one is generate parent sample and one is the constant timer, and I have disabled all these random timers. Okay, get back to view results tree, clear all the results, save it, run it again. Okay, quite simple. 1 second, at the interval of 1 second I'm getting my pages executed. Make sense? Good. All right, I have my launch page, and now it looks simple, right? If you expand this launch page, you see the launch page inside that. if you expand the sign in, you see the sign in page inside that, and you see different pages inside that, right? But do remember, being a demo site, it's looking quite simple to you guys to create a login script, but it's not exactly quite simple. There are a few certain things happening internally. Okay, one element which is going to be a lifesaver for you is the cookie manager, which is already managing cookies, and you see sign in happening successfully. But on different website, basically on a real production website, on which is actually not a demo website, requires some different knowledge in order to let that work completely. So a few other things, I'm just mentioning those things because I'm not going to get into that much of detail, because that requires a basic a few more basic things in order to get jump into those things. One of the concept is called correlation. So what this correlation is, basically once you log in into a website, it generates a token, and that token basically are unique for each sessions. Once you log out of that website, that token is expired, and again if you get back to the login, a different token is generated. So being a demo website or dummy website, it's not going to be so strict on that token kind of areas. That's the reason that the sign-in is happening. Again, for your practical purpose, if you do the scripting on this as well of sign in, it's not going to be a problem for you. But try to record something on a different website, basically a production website, or a website that you own. You cannot simply replay that by just recording that, unless you do correlation. So that's the important point of performance testing, correlation, which is must important thing. Well, for now we are good with that, but I'm not getting into that. If you are interested in that correlation kind of thing, we'll cover those into coming sessions. Okay, but for now it's getting into my sign in page, sign in post and fish. And as I told you that you can simply change the view by clicking on this text. You can change it to HTML. Okay, makes sense. So if you click launch page, it says sign in. On sign in, it says sign in itself. But on sign in post, once I just passed my user ID and password, you can look at the request as well in the request body. Here we have I'm passing a few details like password J2EE and username J2EE with some JSON ID. You might be wondering that where this JSON ID is going past. So look at the detail. This is a cookie data which is being managed by this cookie manager. Okay. I'm not to getting into that detail because I'm not exactly sure that how basically idea you have on these cookie session and those things, so might be confusing for you. Okay, so I'm going to run a quick performance test hitting my local website. I'm going to create a scenario, a simple scenario to just cover these things. Okay guys, so there is a question in between from Girish. So is there a limitation on load that we can generate like a number of threads? Yes, exactly, there is a limitation on load that if your website, so a few things before you start your performance test. First, you should be aware of the load, that how much load your website can handle. If you exactly not aware, you can start with a less number, start with the 5 or 10 numbers, basically users, 5 users, run for that some time, again increase the number of users to make it 10, run for some more time, again increase the number of users to 15, run for some more time, and reaching at 200 or 300 or 500 users, you believe that your website is capable enough to handle those 500 users, and your JMeter is not actually generating load, because from the machine where you are generating load, generating these number of users are running out of resource to generate more than 500 users. So there is an alternate for that. So there is a basically distributed testing concepts. So there is a distributed testing concept where you can add different JMeter nodes, uh, acting as a load generator, which can generate different number of users. Basically, if you add two different nodes of JMeter as a slave, you can simply generate 500 from here and 500 from here, so total of 1,000 users. Again, if required, you can add different number of users, but in most of the cases, your a website or your server will be a bottleneck, not the JMeter. Okay, but yes, exactly, you can generate n number of users by adding different machines as a slave with the help of with the concept of distributed testing. Coming back to this script, here we have one user and a loop count of one. So what I can do, I can run it for infinite and manually stop it, or I can specify thread lifetime, basically a time that for how long I want to run this test. Basically, if I want to run it for, let's say, 5 minutes, so it's going to be 300 seconds, right? So what will happen, one user will continue to run for 300 seconds, or basically for 5 minutes. But let's quickly run it for one user and, sorry, see the behavior. But before that, I need to add a listener aggregate report. This aggregate report will help me in understanding the things, that what exactly happening. Again, there are graph listeners as well. If you get into your listener, these listeners are coming with the help of what is that, um, plugin manager, sorry for that. These listeners are coming with the help of plugin manager, so you can if you want these listeners, graph listeners, to be added, you can get help of plugin manager. But being in a demo session, all these things has been already set up, but that things are not going to take a lot of time for you. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to add active threads over time. Okay, another listener, which is going to be response time over time. What is that? Response time over time. Okay, so I think these two graph listeners will be enough to demonstrate the things, that how my threads are ramping up, and how my response time is going to be happen. Okay, so first run it for one user. Get into this view, um, response time over time. Okay, so run it. Simply click on run button. Okay, and if you look at, these are the pages are in action. Okay, and my sign in is happening and launch page is happening. These are the pages happening. The reason, because those pages are right now happening, and you are getting a lot of graphs here. So again, setting is there. You can select the specific row if you want, what pages exactly you need to check only. If you need to focus on launch page, you can uncheck on and click launch page itself. Okay, is there any problem with launch page? Hold on, that's happening, I think. Okay, so why this behavior? Launch page, I want to have only launch page. Is there any problem with it? Uncheck all, check launch page. Okay, not sure why this behavior. Okay, but that's not a problem. Now it's happening without selecting. It's a kind of I think refresh problem. If you just relaunch that, that will be lost. That will be fixed away. Okay, so this is how my sign in is working right now. So this is how my sign in page is performing. So sorry, so this is the response time of my sign in page. Again, if you look at the thread behavior, one thread is a continuous running, because I have just provided one thread only. If you look at the aggregate report, I'm basically having a throughput of 58 per minute, basically around 1 per second. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so far good now, but I'm stopping this test, running it by increasing a few more time, basically a timer of 2000 millisecond. Okay, now I have all these listeners timer I have just increased, and now I'm going to run it for five uses, or make it 10 uses. Okay, with a ramp up of 30 seconds. So what is going to be happen, these 10 users are going to be active in 30 seconds time. If you're looking at the graph of active threads over time, it will be looking something like this. So the number of users increasing over time, and once the 30 seconds completes, all those basically 10 users will get ramped up. So there is another story of this ramping up, why this ramp up is required, but for now it's something like ramping up gradually, and not just hitting all those 10 users and in a single random shot, and allowing those 10 users to hit website directly. But rather than hitting that directly, I'm just slowly ramping those users into my website. In order to generate report, one of the thing you need to know, that inside this aggregate report, you can write this result into a file. Basically, I can choose a path inside this JMeter itself. That's not a problem. You can put any path. I would like to put this one, W2A, and new. Oh, let's take this path itself rather than a folder. And again, a file name is required. So I will say that it's a local jpet store.jtl. Okay, so the result is going to be written into this file, and with the help of this file, I'm going to generate this HTML report. Okay, and again, I think these two topics, performance versus functional, is pending, and load testing is pending. So type of testing is pending. So we'll get back to those points after this generating HTML report. Let's get back to this, and I'm just saving it, clearing all those previous results. I think already cleared. That's not a problem. Um, Getting back to this, it is not recommended to use this tree during your performance run, because this view results tree is costly, and which requires a lot of resources at your system. So rather than using it for performance run, I can simply disable it, and I will be looking at the aggregate report. Now these graph listeners are also costly, but I'm allowing these listeners in order to understand the behavior of thread and response time. Let's run it. Okay, so here is the response time of launch page. The pages, yeah. So let's be the all pages in action. Here we have active threads over time. So look at the threads. So there are the threads, 5 of 10. And if you look at these 5 threads, so how these threads are just getting into my test plan. I have given a ramp up of 30 seconds, so it has been 25 seconds. And you look at the behavior, initially one thread, and then 2 thread, then 3 thread, 4, 5, 6. So this is how after 30 seconds of time here, all my 10 threads are now active. So these are the 10 threads are now active. And how long these are going to run, this will be derived from this thread group. If you click on this thread group, looking at the detail, these are going to run for 300 seconds, or basically 5 minutes of time. Okay, so look at the details. So what are the details we have? We have average time of all those pages of 17 millisecond. As I told you, that the reason, because it's running on my local machine. But if you understand the things or terminology, that's not going to be difference on running this rather than on local machine or on any website. Errors, we do not have any yet. Okay, throughput, we have 4.1. These are the data sent, and these are the data received, and then the data sent. Quite good, 90% line. So these have different meanings, 90% line and 95% line. Okay, so there is a ask of using assertion, how you can use assertion for projects. Okay, basically this test plan is already completed 2 minutes of time. but it's quite simple. I'm just demonstrating you that how you can add a assertion, but this is not going to be applicable for this page. But if you just look at the launch page, okay, if you look at the launch page, what I can do now, because my test is running, so you need to identify some text on the launch page which you need to validate. Better if you get into your developer mode, the developer tool. If you reload this page, this is the catalog.action, and you look at the response. So these are the responses coming on this page. Basically, I need to look for the sign in, or I need to look for the fish salt water. So if I search salt water, so that is there. So if I get salt water on my page, okay, any relevant response that you feel that might be useful in order to identify that page. So if I get salt water, um, or basically sign in, you can also validate, because at the very first time you're not signed in, so that will also be helpful. But I'm taking example of this salt water only. So if you find salt water on this page, this indicates that this is a page with valid response which has this a fish salt water. What you can do, you can get into your launch page, right click, add assertion, response assertion, everything as default, because you only need to validate something. So substring, text response, and what you want to what you are expecting to have that page is simply add it, a pattern, paste it, salt water. Okay, now once this page is executed, this assertion will be in action and will look for the salt water on this page response. If that response is there inside this page, it will be marked as successful. Otherwise, if this salt water is missing in the response of this page, it will be marked as failure, and in aggregate report you will be getting failure against this launch page. Okay, so this is the way you can validate it. Do remember that once you started your test and you add something in your script, it will not be going to be applicable during runtime. So once your test is running some adding something, some element on runtime will not take effect. So in order to take this assertion effect, you need to stop it and run it again. This is just for your demonstration. I'm not going to run it again, because this has already completed 5 minutes of time, and my data is written back to this JTL file. I can simply verify this JTL. Yeah, it's been created, and it will hold all my. Okay, now my users are completed, and I believe my JTL is already prepared. Okay, so this holds those pages responses, not exactly responses, but the details. Okay, now you can simply, what you can do, you can simply generate the HTML report throughout that JTL, get back to the folder, create a new folder here, get back to the directory where this JTL is generated, create a new folder called result. The reason I am doing, because how to generate a report of out of this JTL. Get into the tools. Okay, now click on generate HTML report, point to the JTL CSV or JTL file. So there is a question that Ankit, that how you create JTL file. So in order to create a JTL file, Ankit, you need to get into aggregate report or any of the report, aggregate or summary report, and you need to provide a valid path with your name, whatever name you want, and with the extension .jtl. So this will write the things into this file, local underscore jpetistore.jtl, under this folder. Point to that JTL. I'm going to do that because that is my inside my folder w2a result. Yes, um, local underscore jpetistore.jtl. Okay, user.property. So this user.property is something which is inside your JMeter bin, and point to user.properties. Okay, output directory. This is the user.property. So this user.property is something which is inside your JMeter bin, and point to user.properties. Okay, output directory. which I have just created is the result inside W2A. It's the result. So this is going to be output tree. Simply create generate report. It's a generating report. Quite simple report created. Get back to the folder, result folder, and you look something which is your actually the HTML report. Click, double click on this index.html and you get all things. Click sign in and all those pages. A few things I would say that it's not actually in a specific format, but that can be done as well. So the thing we were getting inside this view results tree in a form of basically in a form of transactions and having those pages inside that, but this is open here, but that's not a problem. It's just a demonstration that you can simply, in order to generate that thing, you can simply write your JTL by selecting option that do not save sub result. So you can exclude it, save sub result, so that, and after excluding it, you write your JTL and you just generate your report. You will not be getting these pages. Okay, but that's not a problem for now. But look at the more details. What are the things? Few things like tolerated threshold, apdex. This has different meaning, and if you want to learn about apdex, you can click on this link. What exactly apdex is? Basically, this defines that how your page is faster as per your defined response time. Again, we have charts over time. So these are the charts over time. Average response time of each pages. What are the response time of pages over time? You can enable or disable the pages, and you can put only specific pages you want. If I want to put only confirm order pages, basically I can put only the pages I want. So I can look at the trend of the response time. What was the response time trend during that 5-minute duration? Okay. Again, a lot of graphs, active threads over time, bytes over time, latencies over time, connect time over time, and a lot of stuffs. Okay. This is the way we generate HTML report, and these reports basically you can simply save as PNG. You can attach these images into your email in order to complete your report. If you want to present something, a graph kind of things, you can provide this response time over time graph to stakeholders or the person to you are sending a report out. Okay, so this is about HTML report, and I believe that this basically needs some more time as well in order to generate this HTML report. Having a good hand in performance and understanding this tool in a more in a confident way, it was quite simple for me to generate report. But try at your own, and you do it 1 or 2 times, you will be uh, getting a smooth experience generating report and running performance test as well. Okay, so um, coming back to the 2 points actually, and what is that? Looking at the questions, what other questions I have for now? Uh, um, um, maximum user graphs. Hey guys, what about my audio quality? I'm getting a message about degraded audio quality as a notification. Is it fine? Okay, thanks, Shweta. Okay, I believe that these demonstration was something with a quick speed, but since you will be having a recording of this session anyhow, anyway. So if you feel that this has been gone into a quick manner, you can just quickly get back to the recording of this session and understand things by just holding those things as per your speed. Yes, so Sasikant, I agree with your point that I think you should give chance to ask question after every topic. Yes, I do agree with you that I need to provide you a chance, but the chat option is already open. Basically, interacting with those number of persons um, will be something not clear on the things, but if you believe, simply you can put those things into chat box. And I'm quickly wrapping up this session by just talking a bit on this load testing, stress endurance testing, and performance versus functional in a quick manner. Being a theory part, I will not take a lot of time on this, and then I will allow you guys to have 10 minutes at least for your questions. So you can directly have your questions um, um, by having a conversation with me. Okay, cool. So get back. First, I will start with the functional versus performance. And I believe that during this 2 days demo, this has been somehow clear to you, but still on a specific point, what exactly this functional testing is and performance testing is. Okay, so you know what functional testing is? Basically, functional testing is something which validates the functionality. In my previous example in yesterday demonstration, if I scroll up a bit up, yes. So here is the functional testing. I told you that there is a QA person validating some functionality, basically a search functionality, and he is verifying by searching genes. He enters and a lot of genes comes as a result, but how much time that functionality has taken, basically in how much time that the response has uh, received to that person is basically doesn't matter for that person because he is validating the functionality. But in performance we are not focusing on functionality but non-functional aspects. So that's the reason we say performance testing as a non-functional testing, because under performance testing we are validating non-functional characteristics. And what those non-functional characteristics are, basically responsiveness, um, uses handled, okay, hits per second, and different other characteristics. Okay, your basically the availability of your application on a longer period of time, and a lot more things. Okay, so that's the reason we say performance testing as a non-functional testing, and that performance testing comes under category non-functional testing. Okay, I think this is a clear definition and it's a clear differentiation between performance versus functional testing. And if you want me to discuss on this load, stress, endurance, and a spike, I will quickly cover it up. Basically, it's going to be a theory, and most of you will not find it more meaningful unless you get into the practical, but it's still. Um, so we have an application here. We have my JMeter here, and I generate some load on this. So a regular load, I know that my application is able to handle 50 users load with a 2-second response time. Okay, and basically with 50 users load with 2-second response time, my application is performing well and all thing is going good. So this is going to be a kind of standard load testing for me. 50 users load, and where my application response time is 2 seconds, but this is not the maximum capacity. This is the standard capacity. For that I do a regular performance testing of my website, this website. So this kind of testing we do at a regular interval is called load testing, and this is not going to be a maximum capacity testing of my application. Let's say that the capacity of my application is basically it can perform at max up to 80 users. Okay, this is the maximum capacity, but rather than testing at 80 users, I'm testing it at 50 users. So this kind of testing will be called as load testing. But when I convert this testing with a maximum capacity handled by my application, basically, which is 80 users, for example. So this testing I will be referring as the stress testing, because I am stressing out my application with its maximum capacity, which is, for instance, 80 users. So this is called stress testing. Okay. So this is the clear definition of load and stress. Load is something which is not being tested at maximum capacity, while stress is something which is being tested at maximum capacity of your application. Another is the endurance. So what endurance is, basically a load testing is done for a short period, basically for 1 hour or maximum 2 hours. Okay, 1 or 2 hour a load testing is said to be enough. Okay, but when we want to validate the availability of my application on a longer run, basically on 24-hour time, 48 hours of time, more than 10 hours of time, so that kind of testing, so basically that's nothing, a load testing which is converted into a longer run for 12 hours, 24 hour, is called endurance testing. Okay, when we convert our load testing into a longer run, that is said to be endurance testing. And this endurance must have more hours as compared to load testing. Okay, one more thing which is I think it's important is the spike. So what spike testing is, so spike testing is something which generates some sudden load on your application. Okay, here we have a concept of ramp up. If you get here, you have a ramp up of 30 seconds. So I have a 10 user load, but these users are not suddenly hitting my website, but are allowed to get into the website into 30-second time. But under spike testing, a sudden lot of users hitting website in a very short period of time, which generate spikes. So that kind of testing we refer as spike testing, and spike testing is important for those kind of website. They have some special offer on some occasions, say any e-commerce website which says that at 12 p.m. I'm going to have a offer day, and that is communicated to a lot of customers and a lot of users. So what will happen at 12 p.m., a lot of users will be actively started using the website. So to check the behavior of that situation, at that situation we perform a simulation of that kind of behavior, and that is called spike testing. Okay, I think quite talking. Yes, lightning deal. Yes, exactly. Nice word. So I think we have a nice talking on these different topics, types of performance testing, running all these things, converting pages into a script, recording a script, formatting a script, and run a performance test. Okay, one of the question which is pending, I will quickly jump to that, and then I will be allowing you to have 10 minutes for you. One of the attendees is asking about heap. Okay, so what this heap is, basically this comes at a higher level of performance engineering. Okay, so at a high level, just understand that any application, which is basically a Java application, okay, application which runs on JVM requires some memory in order to run. And if I draw a picture for that, okay, so here is your, just a minute, here is your server. This is your server, okay, a quite big server. And inside, and this server has some configuration. Let's say this server has 32 GB of RAM, some CPU, just assume. And there is an application which is deployed on this server. So this is your application, okay. And this is a Java based application which runs on JVM, okay. So in order to run this application, which is a Java application, this requires some heap memory. Basically, heap is something, a kind of memory which is taken back to that physical machine. So if that machine is of 32 GB, which holds a 32 GB of RAM, In order to run this application, there is a config setting which allows the memory occupied by this application. So you can allow some memory out of this 32 GB to this application, which might be 4 GB, 8 GB, or as per the application requirement. So this memory will be allocated to this application, and this will be referred as heap memory. Okay. And now there are most other things comes on this heap topic. So at a high level, this is what the heap memory on which all of the required operations. So this application needs some computation, any operation which is going to be performed, the memory related things um, will be taken back out of this heap itself. Okay, so I have assigned 4 GB of heap memory to this application. So this application is going to be uh, performing under this 4 GB of RAM, 4 GB of memory only, basically the 4 GB of RAM only. Inside that, there are different categories, there are different partitions happens inside that heap. There are generations happens. That's a different topic. That's a heap optimization kind of things. Okay, GC is another quite big topic, but just to quickly answer a short answer on your question, a heap is something, a kind of memory on which a Java based application run, and this heap memory is basically assigned to that any of the Java based application out of the physical memory available on this that physical machine. Okay, and all other computation and operation is done on this 4 GB RAM. That sometimes happens. You might be aware of that while running JMeter, you might get a problem of running OOM out of memory error. The reason is that if you're going to generate a lot of users load through this JMeter, and by default your JMeter is having 2 GB of RAM, might be the 2 GB is not quite enough to generate 100 or 200 or sometime 500 users. So your JMeter will not be able to generate these 500 users using this 2 GB RAM, or basically 2 GB heap size. Okay, so there is an option to generate heap of this JMeter as well. Rather than 2 GB, you can increase this to 4 GB as well. This concept applies to all Java based applications, and since JMeter is running on Java, it's a Java based application that also deals with that heap memory. I think that is this is I think should be enough to understand heap at a very initial level. So Ankit, you have a question that about custom script. What that kind of is it related to JMeter? I think now what I am going to do, I'm going to assign all of you unmute. Okay, here we go. Now you guys have full control on your audio. So any one of you want to just talk to me, just unmute at your end and you can directly interact with me. I have given all unmute permission.
So what are the
Is there
logical
anyone?
controllers?
Okay, so Rohit, there are a lot of logical controllers inside JMeter. We will have a controllers in detail. If you get on thread group, if you get on add logical controllers, so there are a lot of logical controllers. In some of the cases, we need some complex kind of scripting that if something passes, then do something like a if else block. So for that situation, we have if controller. So if controller is something that if something passes, then do something, otherwise do not do. So in that case we can use if controller. There is a loop controller. You want something iterate to multiple times, so for that there are different controllers. So a lot of controllers are there. Switch controller is something that in basic general programs we switch something based on some values. So these are the logical controllers that will be make more sense once we get into more practical approaches. We get some problem statement where we need that kind of controller. So I will be guiding you in a way. I will be first giving you a problem statement, and that problem statement will be solved using these kind of controllers.
Okay, okay, thank you.
And guys, it's a kind of rapid fire. You can have your questions quickly, just rather than typing, just talk to me. I am not able to unmute. I'm not sure because I have already assigned all of you unmute permission. Is it something that you are not able to unmute? Mm, I see Amol and other attendees who are, I think, able to unmute. Okay, of this, I have also given you unmute.
So one more thing I need to ask,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. My question is that, like, during the practical session, like we will get about to know about, like what are the current project challenges and what will be the, like common issues like while working in the project. Because we will be working on a demo site, so we will not come to know that, like how, I mean, it's like kind of error like we will get while working in a project. So we will get
Okay,
that information during our.
so what you can try, basically I will also try to rather than just working on this demo project, we can choose any of the live website that we do, and you can try creating a script. Basically the error you are talking might be at the very initial phase where you are just creating a script and you are getting some error. Once you fix that script, um, the different kind of error while replaying might be because of the performance of that script. So that's a different thing. But scripting kind of error and then getting expertise on your script will definitely get into situation by recording a live script. And in the parallel, if you just planning to join this batch, if you are actually working on a website, you can side by side apply these knowledge on your website for that you are working. And somehow if you get something error, definitely I'm going to help you out in that situation, guiding you through that error.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Yeah, this is Swati. So my question is, do we have the correlation concept in JMeter?
Yes, we have. That's an important concept, and without correlation, basically, you cannot have a good script, and any login script required correlation. So correlation definitely we are going to have into detail. So there are a few elements which are called regular expression extractor, JSON extractor. If you are going to do a scripting for API kind of thing, so those things we are going to have into a detailed manner.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
okay, Rohit this side. So you just said like about the like we work on the active works, the production websites like we have in our offices. So the active tokens, you said that the session token. So the those tokens we need to ask from our developers, or these are easily available on the consoles.
Basically, what happens when you log in into any website, those tokens are automatically generated on launch page or on the login page. So once you click login, so those tokens are already generated. You need not to ask anyone. In case of API, you only need to have a valid user ID and password. And once you hit some auth URL, you will be getting back with the token. So that's not a in kind of HTML website, it's not something that you need to ask your developer about the token. You need to know about valid user ID and password, which can actually get login into the system. That token is already generated on the page.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Am I audible?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm able to. Yes, yes, you are.
I'm from a background where I don't have any knowledge on the scripting. So how much how much of scripting knowledge is needed? And also the thing is I have to implement this in my project as well. So will this course help me in that way?
Okay, so what background you have? Do you have automation background in Selenium?
No, no, I'm a pure manual tester.
Okay, so if you just try to get knowledge on performance testing, this is going to be helpful, because if you gone through these 2 days demo session, you have just looked at the thing that we have created a script. Basically, this is a script we have created, if you're able to see my screen, and this does not require any kind of uh, language knowledge, or basically a code knowledge. Only thing you need to know about the concepts, that how things are moving inside JMeter. And once you get knowledge about recording things, basically an idea that what you need to do, you can simply end up creating a script. So I would say that being a good knowledge, having a good knowledge in a script, you need to know a little bit about scripting, that how things move when you need to do some manual changes. For that, a bit of Java, basic Java is required, but it's not something that you cannot move without having a prior scripting knowledge, because I will be guiding you through a way where you have a very less or no knowledge about scripting. So definitely this is going to be helpful
Okay.
for you as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, any other question, guys, we have? Hey, hi Ghanshyam, anything? Okay, so I believe we have gone through all the questions, and the recording of these 2 days, basically the first day recording, I think, which is already sent to you guys, but the today recording will also be sent to you in some time. um, and I was just looking at the questions which you have posted throughout this session, and I believe that most of the questions has been answered, but still, if some question is missed, you can simply drop me a mail on this jmeter@way2automation.com. Any kind of question related to you, related to this course, or any concept you want to learn, anything that you have doubt about this course. Okay, so I'm open for any kind of question, so just to drop me a mail on this. And with this, I'm going to close this session. Okay, it was a nice talking with you guys with a lot of good questions. We have covered 2 days of demo session, and I hope you have enjoyed this. Okay, so do come back with your comments or anything you just want to share with me. With that, I'm going to close this session, and thanks again for joining, and have a nice day. Okay, guys, bye bye. All right, guys, thank you.